What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. So today the team and I were trading a variety of different penny stocks. I'm going to do a quick recap. I wasn't too active, and the reason I wasn't too active, well, I let the team know right away during the morning. It was because I was actually picking up my new daily driver. So I picked up a 2015 Corvette Z06, picked it up in Tucson. So that took up a good amount of time during the day. But we were following one certain stock, and it's one stock that I was trading yesterday, and it's one that we follow very often. So I'm going to do a little recap on my trade with NUGT and what I could have done better as well. So I'm trading NUGT with two different accounts, and I traded it in two different ways. And this is two different ways that you guys can look at investing when it comes to trading any certain stock. So NUGT is not necessarily a penny stock. It is a stock, well above $10. It was previously about valued at $8 and highs about 32 within year to date, right? So having that understood, this is pretty much what happened today. This is a one-day recap. I'm going to do a two-day analysis. After it hit the resistance that it hit, about $13, this was on Friday. It has been somewhat, downhill from there. There's been news just about like the market doing a little bit better, and when our economy does better, gold tends to, gold being the backing, or not the official backing anymore, but in a sense it's still correlated when, our economy is doing good, gold tends to not do so well. Overall, these trends are pretty predictable with the support and resistance levels, and I traded it two different ways. For those that are getting into trading and doing like your own technical analysis and stuff like that, I want to make sure that you guys understand that momentum trading and technical trading, although those are different types of market, there's different ways you guys can approach them. And I did it with two different accounts. I was trading with my Fidelity account, and I was trading with my Robinhood account. Fidelity being more of a long-term swing trading type of brokerage company that I carry, as well as or Robinhood on the other hand being more of a day trade. So with NUGT, when I was saying that I was going long on NUGT, I initially bought in at 11.50, right? I bought in at 11.50. This was the day before, so yesterday, and I bought in at 11.50. It hit lows of, I believe, 11.23. I bought in at 11.50 when the EMA, which is the little indicator that Fidelity offers, when the candlesticks and the EMA line cross. I bought in, hit highs of 12.12, and it hit highs of about 12.15. So that resistance at 12.15, meaning that that's where it peaks at and then comes back down, it is pretty well understood. I mean, you can see that it peaks there. Once it hits that point, it tends to bleed down, and it goes back for a second try, hits it, comes back down, hits it, and then comes back down. So when you're thinking about buying in, obviously buying at 212 is not a good point to buy in, because every time it hits it, it comes back down. So setting up a game plan on where is a good point about buying. So if this hits it and then comes back down, you're going to want to buy at a place where it hits a certain point and then bounces back up, and that's what we identify as support levels. And with these support levels, you want to make sure you catch it at the bounce or at that point. So there's two different ways people have been approaching this, and I want to make sure you guys understand this. People try to always catch it at the lowest, possible price, which is great, which is, something you can shoot for, but you're also more likely to encounter a higher risk with that. And what I mean by that is, as NUGT continue to drop, for you to be able to identify and to jump in at the exact moment where it bounces, it's going to be very difficult for you to, successfully identify. And jumping in at a certain point, like let's say you jumped in and you saw this bounce when it hit, at this point it was 11.34, and you tried to buy in at this point, and you saw that there was a little bit of a bounce. All of a sudden you bought in at 11.34, and then now it went down roughly about 11 cents from where you initially bought in, since it dropped to lows of 11.23. So instead of catching at the bounce, you actually wrote it down, and with that is you might stop loss out, because now you're thinking that it can continue to drop. Something you can do instead of just trying to buy in at the lowest point is to focus more on when you see upward momentum. And what I mean by that is when it does bounce, and then you're seeing that the EMA or these different indicators show that it's on an upward trend. And by doing that, yes, you're not catching it at the lowest point, but you're reducing risk simply by being able to identify that you're catching it while it goes up. So while it's going up, you buy in, you're riding, in a sense, you're jumping on to the roller coaster of while it's going up, you see a resistance, you could sell at that resistance and go back down. With that, you'll have I think a more successful opportunity to be successful when it comes to day trading, rather than trying to jump in at the lowest point and being able to identify where the exact bounce is going to be, because that's if not impossible, it's going to be very difficult, right? And for you to be able to do that, you're just going to be risking a lot more. So I think waiting more for the bounce, which is what I mean by waiting for the bounce and then seeing that upward momentum, is going to be something that's going to lead to success. And it's something that I did. Again, I didn't buy in at the lowest point. It hit lows of 11.23 and I bought in at 11.50 and was able to sell at 2.10, right? And then with my long-term account, again, I bought in at that same point, but I wanted to go long. And my target price point, like I told the people in the swing trading group chat, was $13. And the reason why was because on Friday, it hit highs of 13. So I definitely saw that potential. That was just me. I'm not too public with everything that I trade in my swing trading brokerage company or my long-term, just because, some of the trades that I do aren't necessarily all based on just trends, but they're more based on what I think about the company, right? It's the value proposition. So when trading NUGT today and it came back down, it lows of about 1080, and I was able to ride it and catch it at 1090, and I was able to do that, and it came back down, and I still held. And then it popped back up. Right when it popped up about $11, I put a stop loss at $11. So regardless if it continues to come back down, I'll at least lock in, the 10-cent profit that I had with NUGT, just because I knew if it broke that, then it was most likely gonna break the support and bleed back down. That was just because I've traded NUGT before and I kind of know its characteristics, right? But overall, I hit a resistance at 11.50, and the reason I knew that was going to be a resistance was because this old support that it built. So if you see, there's somewhat of a congestion. It initially bounced there, went back up, and then bounced, and then broke, and then that's what led to this consistent, bleeding. So understanding that there's some congestion there, you're most likely going to see this to be a resistance, and the reason why is because this was an old support. So old supports, like we say, become new resistance levels. So understanding that the resistance was at that 11.50, I ended up just locking in and following with a stop loss. I followed with a stop loss at 11.40, and that's where my trade ended up filling. So instead of locking at 11.50 like I initially was trying to go for, I wanted to see if I could squeeze in a little bit more. Ended up giving up 10 cents per share of profit, locked in at 11.40, and then walked away with my $137 profit. It wasn't a huge day, but again, I did it in a way that I didn't have to worry too much about it. Again, it was a really busy day because of the drive I had to do and pick up the car and then drive on back. And I just set my alerts. I set my alerts at these different resistance levels and support levels on where it bounced, and then every time it continued to rise, I had a alert every 10 cents as it broke that alert. I was staying up to date with what the stock, and you can do that with the TD Ameritrade platform. It's a free app you can download, and you do have to have a social to create an account, but that's pretty much what I use. With my long-term account, the different way that I traded that was as NUGT continued to drop from my 11.50 buy point, I continued to average out. And when I continued to average out, I started to buy a little bit heavier. And once I saw this bounce, I bought in as it continued to rise even more. My average for this was $11. So now I'm up, instead of breaking even since it closed at 11.52, I'm actually up about 52 cents on the stock. I am going a little bit heavier on NUGT. But overall, again, it's just a different way of trading. You can average down if you see the potential, and if not, you can cut losses, buy when you see upward momentum, and then sell at these resistance points. So that's pretty much my recap on today's trading. I did want to do a quick analysis on a couple aftermarket movers that I saw. So PTX with a support at 255, hit highs of 360 aftermarket. So this is definitely going to be one that I'm going to want to watch for tomorrow. CUR was one that I saw. This EMA looks somewhat interesting to me. I saw the upward potential. It looks to have a resistance right around the 405 mark. Also being able to identify that right there, and as it continues to rise, once it breaks 380, hopefully we can see an upward trend, but this is definitely one you might want to look at tomorrow. CIE is still well below the EMA, so what I think is it's most likely going to continue to drop, and I'm just going to continue watching it. It was one that was thrown around within our group since it had such a good day the previous day. DGAS as of now has a support around 665 and a resistance at 7, and it held, aftermarket as it still held above 665. So it's really interesting to see that, it kind of just built a flat line at that point. So we're going to see how it opens some more and see if we can get a little bit over the EMA. Definitely does not have the 10% potential we're looking for since it's at 660 and resistance at $7. More of a 5% potential, but who knows? Maybe we can squeeze in a little bit of profit with DGAS. DRYS has built a support right around the 270 mark, as you guys can see that you're able to draw out right around here. It has gone below, but it has gone above. Does have that 10% potential from the 270 to 290 price point, and DRYS is a highly volatile stock. So you want to be careful with this one and make sure that you stop loss quick and make sure you catch it when it has these upward momentums or upward trends. VZ, just wanted to do a follow-up. This is one that I'm still swing trading with my initial buy point at 47.90. Current price is 47.67 with highs of aftermarket at 49.73. So I am up about almost a little bit over $2, including aftermarket hours. So I'm pretty excited. And again, my overall target sell point for this, based on this 3-month analysis, is $54. So let's just give it time to load, and that is the resistance or my target sell point. If it drops below 49, then I'm just going to lock in my profit. But if it continues to rise, I'm going to follow with the trailing stop loss to $54. That is my recap for today. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you guys did, please feel free to give the video a thumbs up. I am going to put the link where you can join TechBit Solutions. It's the group chat that I have. So overall, we're about 2,600 members worldwide. It is a free group you can join. The link is provided for you down below. And if you would like to join our group chat platform, it is now provided for you simply through this link that you can click through our Facebook platform. You don't have to email me anymore just because my email crashed since the amount of emails I've received. And if you guys can, I would really appreciate if you guys can subscribe just to give me a better understanding on what kind of videos you guys would like me to create. So thank you guys again. I'll be uploading a new video about my new Z06 probably tomorrow or today since it's 12:44. But I really do apologize for the video being so late, and I wish you guys the best of luck and make sure that we close this week on a green note. Take care, guys, and we'll see you guys soon.